Good morning, everyone, and welcome into this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, and whatever your faith tradition, you are welcome here. My name is Gary Forbes, and I'm a member here at QUUF. I'd like to begin this service by acknowledging that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the Sklallam and Chimicum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain their homelands. As we call in our time together, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts with the ringing of the chime. It's good to be together. I'd like to welcome members of the Vaccinated Voices Choir now, who will sing our call to community, hymn number 1011, Return Again by Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to what you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to the where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Thank you, Mary Riggen, Katy, Ottaway, Pat and Doug Rodgers, Don Landstra, and Al Thompson for your beautiful voices. Please join me now in our chalice lighting words. In 1997, the congregation at the time wrote this covenant statement. We are travelers. We meet for a moment in this sacred place to love, to share, to serve. Let us use compassion, curiosity, reverence, and respect while seeking our truths. In this way, we will support a just and joyful community, and this moment shall endure. Our opening words are from our gray hymnal by Richard S. Gilbert and written as a responsive reading. We bid you welcome. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirit seeking rest.
Who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid.
We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart.
who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous.
We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith.
Who come to probe and explore, who come to learn.
We bid you welcome who enter this hall as a homecoming.
Who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family.
Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Thanks, Gary. This is the time in our service when we acknowledge and welcome those of you who are visiting us this morning. You're invited to say hello in the comment section and tell us your name and where you're from. The chat section can be found below or on the right side of the video when you are out of full screen. We'd love to hear from you. Last week, a few of us gathered here in this sanctuary to view the video on the chancel wall. It was large, and the sound was a vast improvement over our home computer. It's true we couldn't stay in our pajamas, and we couldn't go to the kitchen for a snack or another cup of tea or coffee, but it felt really good to be in this space with others. Not everyone knows that our facilities team early on in the pandemic installed an air filtration system based on the model of the Jefferson Healthcare. John Tyberski writes, quote, "All air in the facility is treated with UV light, destroying all microbes that pass through the lights," unquote. For some of us, being inside with others is still not part of our personal protocol. But for others, it feels okay, masked and vaxxed, of course. Maybe we'll see some of you here on Sunday mornings this summer, same time, same video, but in sacred space with fellow travelers nearby. So welcome, everyone. We are glad you're with us today. We will now receive our offering, which today goes to the support of our programming, staff, and buildings here at QUF. If you'd like to donate, you have three options. You can text the amount you'd like to give to the number now showing at the bottom of the screen. You can go to our website, QUUF.org, and click on the giving link, or simply mail a check to QUF. Just remember to put offering in the memo line. We will now greatly receive your offerings as we listen to the Vaccinated Voice Choir led by Pat Rodgers singing Never Turning Back by Pat Humphries.
We're gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. We're gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep
Thank you, vaccinated voices. We will now share our joys and sorrows, recognizing that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus we place this first stone, thinking in particular of the families outside of Chicago who lost their loved ones to violence. We are tired and disturbed to keep lighting candles for useless murders, especially on that day of independence. And now within our congregation, we light a candle with Virginia Nixon for the death of her good friend and older brother, Carl Ahrens, in southern Indiana. He died peacefully and painlessly at age 91, with both daughters caring for him in his last month. Oh, that we could all leave so well. This next candle is for our QUUF staff, for their continued work to keep QUUF moving forward. They are rotating through well-earned vacation time this summer. We wish them breathing space and recreation time. We place this last stone holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance. I invite you now into a time of silence.
The reading for this morning is the poem Otherwise by Jane Kenyon. I got out of bed on 2 strong legs. It might have been otherwise. I ate cereal, sweet milk, ripe, flawless peach. It might have been otherwise. I took the dog uphill to the birchwood. All morning I did the work I love. At noon I lay down with my mate. It might have been otherwise. We ate dinner together at a table with silver candlesticks. It might have been otherwise. I slept in a bed in a room with paintings on the walls and planned another day just like this day. But one day, I know, it will be otherwise. Our special music today is a little something I wrote called Turtles All the Way Down.
Between the dark and the light, better hold on tight. 'Cause out on the edge there ain't no ledge. What you want, what you feel, fact, fantasy, is it real? Promiscuous devotion to the untruth. No hero are gonna hop out of phone booth. Stay home if you're looking for salvation. popular imagination, it's tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way, that's right. Tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way. Sunlight setting on a pale blue earth. Anybody's guess how we got this birth? Is it God, mad, drunk, fever, dream? If you're looking for the wizard, hard on the scene. Tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way. That's right. Tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way. Between the dark and the light, better hold on tight. Out on the edge, there ain't no ledge. What you want, what you feel, at first, is it real? Tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way. That's right. Tunnels all the way down. Tunnels all the way. That was better.
Gary and his wife Karen joined QUUF in 2002 with their two daughters. Ellie was 8 and Claire was 4. Gary volunteered almost immediately to be an RE teacher and continued in that role until Claire finished high school. He then shifted to being an advisor for our youth group. He took a turn as a board member and was always willing to step up into other volunteer service as needed. We are grateful that he agreed to speak with us this morning from the pulpit and also to share his music. Gary?
Thanks, Kathy. Good morning. I'm grateful, if a little intimidated, to have been asked to speak to you and share a bit of my story today. A lot of my working day is spent listening to others, trying to absorb and interpret their stories, and use that information to help advocate for their well-being and health. As the first-year physician training in Rochester, New York, I met with my program director early on, complaining that I was having difficulty processing the experiences and stresses of internship. She advised me that there would be plenty of time to process later. 32 years later, I'm still working on it. It's been a long, strange trip, but one that I've been very fortunate to take. It was not my intention to become a physician. As an undergraduate, I resonated strongly with what is now a meme, "May the forest be with you." I began working with my dad, a landscaper, while in grade school, and in college, the pull of the natural sciences led me to courses in botany and ecology. When one of my professors, who was an evolutionary ecologist, suggested I consider applying to medical school, my immediate reaction was, no way could I do that. Doctors had always seemed exotic, embodying a sense of the other, foreign agents possessing an authority I could never attain. I remember riding in a hospital elevator with a doctor once, and honestly, it even seemed that he was breathing differently. My later decision to attend medical school was driven by practical considerations more than a desire to wear a white coat and project a regal bearing. After college, in the midst of another recession, I found a job in a research lab at the Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. Working amidst and alongside doctors, they seemed less burnished and more human, if also a lot more harried. The near certainty of employment in good times and bad drove me to get on the train. Med school and residency were destinations with a well-defined path and clear expectations. Despite long hours spent memorizing information and trying to understand concepts, the actual process was pretty straightforward. In my memory, there was little question that I would enter a primary care medical specialty. Early on, I heard of the urgent need for frontline physicians. Acting as the point of contact and primary advocate for patients appealed to my sense of social responsibility, as well as my religious convictions. With humble apologies to any surgeons, radiologists, or subspecialists listening, I was kind of dismissive of those who did not share my career choice. I thought real doctors worked in the trenches. In truth, I depend on those dedicated and talented people every day. For me, though, it was a fortunate decision to go into primary care. Stories about the long hours, fatigue, fears, and self-doubt that accompany residency and early practice abound and are best left in peace for now. But for a long time, the fact that I was a physician and had that skill set felt foreign. To myself and my family, I was just the music nerd who loved social gatherings and walking on the beach. The title MD felt like it belonged to someone else. That tension created a sense of duality with which I still struggle. At the time, and even now, I resisted identifying fully with my life's work, not trying to avoid the responsibilities that it required, but hesitating at times to wear the badge of doctor. It may have been a simple fatigue, a need to escape, or just a desire for a less porous personal boundary, but it ultimately prevented me from appreciating all I was capable of doing for my community. This feeling of possessing a dual nature may be worth further exploration on my part as I leave my badge with human resources over at the hospital. For now, just saying escape is not really a healthy life choice. It is easy to discern, though, what has sustained me through different job titles, practices, and variations on the swamp thing known as the electronic health record. I'm talking to you, Epic. It's the time I'm able to spend with patients and their families and friends. On a good day, I'm able to create connections with others far more personal, intimate, and profound than any I had previously experienced. Being an interpreter of maladies gives me a unique entry into people's lives and allows me to see myself and others differently. It's an immense privilege and a daily source of gratitude that continues to bring me many blessings. It informs every interaction with family, friends, and community. It continues to give me a means of pitching in that I could not do otherwise. So now, after 3 decades and many changes in the practice of medicine, I'm easing away from the identity I've lived and sustained. When pondering what to say today, a crossroads was the first image that came to mind. Now, though, this waypoint seems more like a roundabout, with entrances and exits more numerous than any we encountered when we traveled through England a few years ago. The song Vinnie and I played earlier, Turtles All the Way Down, is a commentary on the many questions one can ask when there are choices to be made. According to Wikipedia, the phrase is an expression of the problem of infinite regress. It's sort of like trying to explain something to a toddler, only to have each attempt countered with, "But why?" A similar situation occurs when I try to convey the transient relevance of guidance that is current best practice in medical care. Also see, Unitarian Universalists have questions for all your answers. While I have no way to confidently predict how this future will unfold, I have been given some advice along the way. Just as we recognize and are grateful to the indigenous people on whose lands we now live, I'm in debt to those who made it possible for me to contemplate the question, what next? To my family, teachers, colleagues, and friends, thank you. A lot of folks, when asking about future plans, figure I'll be playing more music. My answer is always, I sure hope so. Music has been a dear and constant companion longer than memory. I started spinning vinyl at age 2, and I never gave it up. Since my mom bought me drumsticks and a drum pad to keep me from banging up the kitchen table with a fork and spoon, there have always been instruments in the house. Even if I did not always have a song in my heart, there was always one in my head. The last 20 years in Port Townsend have given me numerous opportunities to play well with others. I spent nearly every Friday night for 10 years with a group of friends calling themselves One Egg Night. There's a story behind that, and I'll tell you if you ask me later. Regardless of the musicianship on a particular evening, which was sometimes pretty rough, we generated a lot of joy when we played. For reasons still a little difficult to fathom, other people seemed to share in that joy when they heard us. I've also been lucky to play with the Unexpected Brass Band for several years, and again marvel at the small miracle that arises when we get into that ineffable space called the pocket. In the past, when I came to all these instruments Karen has kindly allowed me to bring into the house, I had the money, and from time to time, I had the time. Now, I'm able to focus my attention on better understanding the language these many pieces of wood and metal can speak, and hope someday that I can create in the air the music I hear in head and heart. A retired member of the clergy recently passed on to me advice he received at retirement. Deepen your faith. We don't share the same religious tradition, but he got me thinking about what that process would look like. Faith, like God and prayer, can seem like a sticky word, carrying baggage taken on in a Catholic childhood I'd rather cast off. For example, the song, "Faith of our fathers, holy faith, we will be true to thee till death." The term faith, the term faith still conjures the presence of a supernatural force that will somehow judge me and decide my fate forever and ever. Amen. I pondered the concept of forever since I was a kid and still find the idea that something can live on after us compelling and majestic. As a humanist mystic with a fairly empirical bent, I've had at least a couple of experiences convincing me that there are forces much greater and profound than I can understand, even if they do follow the rules of mathematics. In my credo developed during a Building Your Own Theology course here at QUUF, I wrote, "I believe it is enough to contemplate eternity." Given the practical need to renew spirit and body Monday to Sunday, though, a less ethereal and more practical approach is warranted. Reworking the credo seems like a good place to start. So, I get spiritual nourishment from being in the presence of people with whom I can breathe, wonder, and be grateful, with whom I can share joys and sorrows, celebrate successes and grieve failures, who share my hopes for justice, compassion, and peace. I know that only by uniting with others in this way will it be possible to create the future I'd like to see, so that in the words of our covenant statement, this moment shall endure. Like a credo, we are always a work in progress. Finally, from my friend Vinnie, who you'll be hearing again shortly, I was told to go outside and sit under a tree for a couple of weeks. Since I started working summers with my dad, the landscaper, around age 12, I have taken few breaks. On September 2nd, I'll wake up and leave the inbox on the electronic health record to someone else. It will be a freeing moment, but probably a little discombobulating. The first day of my last career. I'm ready and not ready. Instead of contemplating eternity, I'll be contemplating the movement of air across the fir branches in my backyard and the song of the birds sitting on those branches. Sitting and listening may suffice. Gratitude for the moment may be enough. I hope to be there in that moment because, as Jane Kenyon reminds us in today's reading, one day I know it will be otherwise. Our closing song today was composed by my friend Vinnie Pollina, and it's called Wings Upon Your Heart.
The mountains ring, and singing we would all be glad. Now you tell me how the world's gone crazy, the future's really looking bad. The outlook is getting grim and hazy, society is running raving mad, yeah. Let's just the same old story. There's nothing new. And I think the answer's the same old answer too. Hatred, greed, and fear only tear your world apart. But love and gratitude put wings upon your heart. Wings upon your heart. Wings upon your heart. Now you tell me how you're having problems. Your life has become a pain. I remember you once had a vision. Can you call your vision back again? Call your vision back again. Do you remember all the songs we'd sing when music was all we had? Our singing would make the mountains ring, and singing we would all be glad. It's still a wondrous life, there's nothing new. And I think the answer's the same old answer too. Hatred, greed, and fear only tear your world apart. Love and gratitude put wings upon your heart. Wings upon your heart. Wings upon your heart. Wings upon your heart. Upon your heart. It's still a wondrous life.
Before we extinguish our chalice, I want to remind you that Bruce Bodie will be our guest speaker next Sunday. He will be preaching on death in duel and dueling perspectives. I hope you can join us. And now, let us join voices in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We conclude our service turning our attention to our postlude, John Prine's Fish and Whistle.
I've been thinking lately about the people I meet, the car wash on the corner and the hole in the street, the way my ankles hurt with shoes on my feet. I'm wondering if I'm gonna see tomorrow. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. I was in the army, but I never dug a trench. Used to bust my knuckles on a monkey wrench. I'd go to town and drink, give the girls a pinch. I don't think they ever even noticed me. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. Fish and a whistle, whistle and fish. Eat everything that they put on your dish. When we get through, we'll make a big wish that we never have to do this again, again, again. again. On my very first job I said thank you and please. They made me scrub a parking lot down on my knees. Then I got fired for being scared of bees. They only give me 50 cents an hour. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. And we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. Fish and a whistle and fish. Eat everything that they put on the dish. When we get through, we'll make a big wish that we never have to do this again, again, again. Oh, Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. We'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. We'll whistle and go fishing in heaven.